You are now listening to the Peter and Jake Talks Wrasslin podcast, a weekly review of Monday Night Raw and other wrestling-related topics. And here's your hosts, Peter Day and Jake Grondy.
Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
What's up, world?
Buddha monks in the trunk. Turn the bass up. Hello, boys and girls. This is episode, what, 43?
Yeah.
43 or 44?
I'm not sure. We're up there.
Let's just go with the under.
Let's go 43?
No, this is actually 44.
Okay.
This should be 40. Yeah, I think this is episode 44, 43, 44, whatever have you. 44 of Peter and Jake Talks Wrasslin. That's 44 weeks, man. 44 weeks. We are
almost there. Almost there to a year.
Ah, man, we're 8 weeks away from SummerSlam, which will make we're 4 weeks away from Battleground, another 4 away from SummerSlam, which will make an entire year of the Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling podcast. How you doing, Jake?
I'm doing great. Good Raw. Congratulations, Golden State Warriors. I won $60. I won $60, man.
You know where my cut? What the fuck my cut then?
Pretty stoked on that. I don't mind or hate either team, but I'm definitely glad the Golden State won since I put the money down on them.
We got a lot of champions. Other outside of wrestling. The Blackhawks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you follow.
Did you see the CM Punk shirt that people are getting mad about? It's like the Blackhawk logo, but CM Punk's face. I don't know. I just thought it was just like he's a fan, so he made a shirt. You know, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But I don't know. People are taking it the wrong way.
Well, he's trying to make himself the face of the Blackhawks, and he's not. He's just a fan. He's a famous fan.
Yeah.
You don't see Jack Nicholson trying to be the face of the Lakers.
No.
He's just a super fan.
Yeah.
You know? He's not walking around making shirts with like the LA Nicholases or some shit like that, you know? It's just like, get over yourself. We know you're popular. You know, you're the center of attention, but don't milk it at the expense of like hockey and, you know, this NHL team that would do good whether if you're around or not.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
I hear that.
So I guess before we go into that, we had a awesome discussion with your dad.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
The real Diamond Dan Grondy. This is the first time we've gotten up since the death of Dusty Rhodes. Your dad just texted me too right there.
And my dad was in the Mid-Atlantic area. He went to the Greensboro Coliseum for all the early Starrcades, and then he later became a employee of Dusty Rhodes, and he talks a little bit about that, how he actually had more interaction as a fan and then we worked with him. We didn't really see much of him, which is pretty interesting.
How he felt, things that he think that he could, you know, just it's a good discussion. I wanted to get Jake's take right now quickly on Dusty Rhodes, and that's what it led to me getting in touch with his dad. Us getting in touch with his dad. He's kind of like my dad too. He's telling me that if a white woman can be the NCAA chairperson, NAACP chairperson, then you know he can be my father. So, because you sent me the news that he had died, I didn't even know. I'm getting off work.
Well, growing up with like my uncles and my dad and everything, they had tons of stuff on tapes from like the 70s and 80s of Dusty Rhodes growing up. So I was able to watch all that stuff of him wrestling Flair, the first War Games, and then into when he announced for WCW, and then even when he was on ECW when he wrestled Steve Corino of all people. So throughout my childhood, he was there, either being recorded or when I was watching, you know, stuff on TV.
Who's this?
Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty, okay.
Yeah, and you know, just he was there as in on TV, but and then you know, past few years he's been taking over, you know, training everybody. So it's really the mark that he's left is kind of is like you can't really bring it into words. Like he was Ric Flair's favorite wrestler, you know, so that's kind of strange. And then like he trained like pretty much anyone in NXT now, so. He's got this thing called the Dusty Finish, you know, so it's like there's I don't know. It's just a wild thing.
Well, just the contributions. I saw that documentary. It was like the Flair versus Dusty thing they have on the network. And once you really look at it, and you look at Dusty and you look at Flair, they're kind of essentially the same character, but on opposite ends of the spectrum. It's the way they talk, the way that they address people, address the crowd. Even though Dusty,
Flair got in the business driving, I think, Dick Murdoch and Dusty Rhodes around.
Yes.
Yeah, so,
and Dusty brought him in.
Yeah. So
he brought him in, and it's just like, even though one had the persona of like
a rich guy or whatever.
But they were really essentially the same character. It was just like, you want the dark side or you want the light side. I was a fan as a kid because of my Aunt Sis and Aunt Magnolia. I mean, she loved Dusty Rhodes, like loved him, and she would even talk like him. What was the valet? Even when he was with Crockett in WCW, one thing that stood out was that big lump on his stomach. I always wondered what the fuck that was. And his feuds with Terry Funk and Ric Flair, those always stood out. I never really remembered him fighting anyone else other than the people in the Horsemen and Terry Funk.
Yeah.
And the bionic elbow, and when he went with the polka dots, I was never really a fan, but it grew on me.
Yeah, WWF stuff.
Who was his valet? What's her name?
Sapphire.
Yeah. And it was, you look at guys like Damian Sandow today, and you look at guys like, I would say, yeah, definitely Damian Sandow, in the fact that there's a little Dusty in him, to where he took something that was shitty, and made it great. That's what Dusty did with the whole American Dream polka dot thing. Sandow, hey, I got this gimmick, let me make this into something awesome. Antonio Cesaro, same thing. I got this crappy gimmick, let me make something great out of it. So, I don't know. The impression he left on me as a kid was that fact that, you have people who are positioned because of aesthetics and because of money and because of this. As long as you work hard, he was the first John Cena, to a certain extent. Hulk Hogan, you work hard, you don't complain, and you respect people. The sky's the limit. And that's what Dusty Rhodes was, essentially to a lot of people. And like what your dad said, and stick around, is going to be at the end. Our conversation, the short conversation, about 11 minutes with his dad, but like he made you believe, like no other person, any other wrestler I've ever seen.
Yeah, if they could do it now, often imitate, never duplicate it. I would definitely say. It just it didn't really hit me till everyone was out there at Money in the Bank that he had really gone. Like Twitter was blowing up, but I don't know, it didn't really sink in until I saw everyone out there, and just they started showing the vignette and everything, and then that's when I was like, I kind of had to like step away for a little bit and come back, or else I would have just tearing up a little bit, man.
Yeah.
But,
well, they say I didn't get to catch it. Was it Renee Young? I think in the pre-show or something like that, or was it afterwards? Like she couldn't talk. She was on the pre-show panel. She couldn't talk.
Yeah.
I think she had to they had to
cut the Booker T.
Yeah, because the raw emotion. I mean, apparently he meant a lot to that NXT group. Like he was like the top dog, even though Triple H runs it. Like the daddy was Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
Daddy was Dusty Rhodes, and that's pretty cool that he would leave an impression even on the newer generation.
It's wild stuff.
Yeah, wrestling royalty. I just wonder who potentially could take his place. If there is a place to be taken. Well, that seat is not at the table anymore.
I would say that probably the seat's gone, because even if you get someone to take their place, they learn something from Dusty. I'd say there was a generation that came up from the 70s and 80s that saw it leave local and go into cable, that it's not, now that it's already in cable and now on the internet, it's not gonna, there's never going to be a shift like that anymore. So there's never going to be people who would need to put the promotion on their back like they did in the 70s and 80s.
Booking, writing, performing.
Yeah. if you...
And all good stuff, too.
Oh, yeah.
Other than, say...
That's what I heard, that's why...
Shockmaster. He is responsible for the Shockmaster.
Yeah, he definitely got a little, like, worn out, I would say, when he was writing for WCW toward the end. I think that's why they said, come to WWF, and we'll just put you in polka dots and you can have fun. I think that's why he just wanted to do something like that.
Well, it's the polka dots was definitely a rib.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about a guy like Vince McMahon who was very, very vindictive. And yeah, we'll take you on, but like wrestling's tough. I mean, to take a guy who was just like the people's champion, right? Mm-hmm. Like the hard-working people's champion, like this guy, this legendary guy, to be all of a sudden strutting around, shucking and jiving in polka dots.
Yeah.
I mean, that takes a lot of what's the word I want to use? Humble. Like, you got to be very humble to go from those heights to that potential of a low, of humiliation. And
apparently they wanted him to be a pizza guy at first. Apparently there's this vignette of him being his gimmick was he was going to be a pizza guy. And then they tried to make him like a mechanic at one point, and then they just put him in the polka dots. So there's these funny old like 80s WWE vignettes of him like being a pizza guy.
I think I heard that on the sound off. I think they mentioned that on there,
which is pretty funny.
Well, they got the pepperonis on there still. The yellow ones.
Oh god, can you imagine that if it was like a tan? Whatever.
But I'd only imagine. Right now, I think about one of my favorite wrestlers in my top 3 is Dustin. Dustin is one of my favorite wrestlers. Dustin, Booker T, and Diamond Dan Page, and he spawned one of my favorite wrestlers. And Cody to this day is still
full of potential.
Top of my list. I mean, the guy's pedigree was even amazing. They don't just stop there.
Excuse me.
So with that said, let's again stick around. By the end of this, there's a nice conversation with Mr. Grondy,
Diamond Dan, my dad.
Who also performed back in those days, and later on in those days, but it's definitely worth sticking around and listening to.
Yeah, so we had Money in the Bank.
The only thing I hate about Money in the Bank is this goddamn theme song.
Yeah,
I hate it. Money. I hate that.
They need to have that one song that was like on the radio a few years ago. It's like Money in the Bank. It's like. Shorty, what you drink?
Who's that?
I don't know, man. But every time I hear Money in the Bank as a pay-per-view, I think that was like why. I think that's going to be the theme song every year.
Really?
Yeah, it never is.
But and then you have there's this one song I like called Lido. The artist is called Lido. Yeah. Lido. This Money. I'm like, you can just use that next year. Just get away from that. Money. It's worse than. It's a shame the pain. And you know what? It's worse than Stephanie McMahon's theme song. Yeah. And I think the only one that could really beat out how bad those themes are is the Samoa Joe song.
Yeah. Oh my god.
We get there. We get there.
That's got to be a rib, man.
Probably. But yeah, Money in the Bank, dude. I give it a 6. If I was to give it a 1 out of 10, I give it a 6. Maybe a good strong 5.
No, I'll give it a 6 with you. I'd say 6 would be comparable.
Yeah. Good
moments, slow moments.
They gave you no reason to really care about it. They gave you no reason to really care about the storylines going in. I mean, fuck the Big Show, fuck Ryback, fuck the Divas division, we know Ambrose is not going to win the belt. You give us an opener of R-Truth and King Barrett. It wasn't really nothing really left. I mean, you were left with basically Cena and the ladder match to a certain extent.
I mean, the tag match was good, but I mean, it was second to last.
I thought it was going to be a better performance. I really did. It ended really on a very.
I think there was a lot of rewriting. I think everyone thought it was going to be Reigns, but then obviously what happened.
Well, I'm talking about like the tag team match. It was a very uneventful ending. It was like the way it ended. There was no shock value or no nothing. It was just okay. There's the pin.
Yeah.
And Xavier Woods gets pinned. And now you have tag team champions. Woohoo! But let's go through. Let's start with a ladder match because that's what it started with. What the fuck are you starting the?
Well, the pre-show did have R-Truth and Barrett, like you mentioned, and R-Truth won. So I was up to start things, but it was a hard night for me. And then we went right into the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Why? Why isn't that the main event? It's the name on the fucking.
I guess they
pay-per-view.
wanted to separate the two ladder matches as much as possible, and they couldn't have the world title be first, so they did that. But yeah, it did look kind of bad. And I just thought this was kind of a lazy ladder match too. Like normally, like you'd have the guys in the ring doing the working with the ladder, and then you'd have the guys on the outside of the ring brawling or whatever. But if you watch this one, they're just like laid out, like
just kind of looking in. Like,
yeah, like is one's kind of maybe counting on when they should come in or something like that. I just think they could have done a better job.
Neville was awesome.
Yeah.
I felt a lot of attention was on Kofi Kingston.
When he got powerbombed on the ladder?
Man, that was great. And then Neville getting tossed on top of him.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of Kofi in this match. And listening to Cheap Heat, and I guess one of the guys that was on the panel, he brought that up, that Kofi was the dark horse. And I never thought of it. It wasn't even something that dawned on me. I see him winning because this made his 7th appearance.
Yeah.
He's been in the company for a very long time, and now he's a heel. I mean, all the things, and with the New Day and the fact that it's the whole Freebird rule of all 3 of them winning.
Yeah, I thought that'd be pretty interesting. Yeah, like if he won the Money in the Bank, because then they'd have the briefcase with the tag titles theoretically.
It would have made for a great storyline. I mean, the possibilities would have been endless. It would have been no way you could have fucked it up.
Except if you have Sheamus win, and then I think it kind of fucked it up.
I said Sheamus would win.
You did. So we're 1-1 at this point. But I did not expect Sheamus. Like I think if you watch back on the video, I laughed at you when you said Sheamus. I thought Sheamus was
you not only laughed at me.
The last guy I wanted to win. The last guy I thought would win.
Yeah, you not only laughed at me. You like shamed my family name and
what?
and you took a shit in my bathroom and didn't flush.
Top shelf too.
And you kicked my dog. And all of that shit. I don't even have a dog, and you still kicked it. That's how
I gave you a dog.
That's how much he put me to shame for making that prediction, people.
But now the egg's on my face. Sheamus won.
Sheamus won. I mean,
do you think this was a good idea that Sheamus won? I know you picked him, but
all I could see is it's a formula that they have with the Money in the Bank. A heel has to win it, and the only other person I think that has gotten it, other than Cena, and I consider him a heel to a certain extent.
Yeah, Cena got it. Sandow got it.
Sandow was a heel.
That's true, but he was kind of facing Cody at the time.
Yeah, he was a heel. He was still the intellectual saver, but he won. But that was for the World Championship, not the WWE Championship.
Yeah. RVD, he was the first one though, so that was back in the day.
Yeah. But who was champion?
Cena.
Okay. See, that's where the formula comes to. The idea of the Money in the Bank is to be a slick, sly son of a bitch to sneak in and take the title. That's not something a babyface, in terms of virtue, would be scheduled to do. So if you look at it and you look at the babyfaces, you got Roman Reigns, you got Neville, and you had
Randy Orton.
And Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no Orton, no please.
Yeah, he won. I think he won like 2 years ago.
Neville, I see him with the IC belt, and Reigns is just, not. I mean, I'm not saying not yet, but like he's a face. Like he can't. He's not a slimy dirtbag to win the Money in the Bank.
See, I thought it was going to be Reigns, but then he got attacked by Bray, which of course is setting up the match at Battleground they later announced on the show. I mean, I thought he was going to win and cash in that night, and I think they did a little rewriting. I may be just thinking that, but I think that it was too obvious to go with Reigns, so then they had to throw that in there.
Yeah, when I heard that they pulled out on Sheamus winning the IC belt in the Elimination Chamber, like I said in the review, I said, man, I immediately thought they got something bigger and better planned for him, and maybe it is Money in the Bank. What they do with him with that Money in the Bank briefcase, I couldn't tell you. Like, you know how you can be like, oh yeah, you can do this fantasy booking?
Yeah.
No fantasy booking whatsoever with Sheamus. Not at all. Like, what?
Well, you don't want to see Sheamus and Rollins.
You don't want to see Sheamus and Brock.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's got it for a year, so let's just see.
Unless he's booked to lose it. He tries to cash in at Battleground.
against Brock.
And Rollins, and I heard this on listening to PW Torch. He tries to cash in at Battleground and gets pinned by Rollins. That's the only thing.
You can maybe have Brock win the title and then Sheamus come out to try to get it from Brock. And then
No,
Brock...
that's too much hot potato though with Brock and that.
No, you wouldn't have Sheamus beat Brock. You would just have Brock beat two guys in one night.
You don't want to do that with Rollins though.
Yeah, that would kind of bury Rollins.
It wouldn't be a good look, especially if you got the rocket ship on him.
Yeah. Well, what'd you think of this Divas match?
Next.
I picked Paige. He picked Nikki. Nikki won. Nikki won with the rack attack. Or this is actually kind of funny, where she pinned Brie, but then Brie had to pull out, revealing that she didn't have a boob job.
Can we?
Okay, I don't know. I thought it was.
WWE doesn't give me a reason to fucking care. I'm not going to care. And then you're gonna pull some. This is like, you thought the whole match, the ending to the match of Owens and Zayn #1 was fucking stupid in terms of like, how is this in terms of rules and regulations legit?
Yeah.
Or there was another one recently. What was it? It was another
with the New Day, where is that the one you're talking about?
It was something where you just didn't know what was happening. Like, how is this a legitimate win or loss? You got someone else coming in, putting their hands on the other person. Now, I can see if she got on the top, on the apron, and Paige hit her, but she actually rolled her up for a pin. And
it's true, there would have been a disqualification.
Right off the bat, but they kept it going. And I just go like, what? It was a dusty finish, one last dusty finish.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah.
Inadvertently, Paige gets the win, But I think just her actually getting the best of her at some point, then it should have been thrown out. But no. You get a bull hammer. A bull hammer.
Yeah.
From
Nikki.
From Nikki, which you see, apparently, what the fuck is, what does Barrett have now? He's fucked.
I mean, if you saw on Raw, they gave him even a different King outfit. His King outfit doesn't have the fur on it anymore. So they're taking his shit away.
They took his bull hammer. They gave that shit to Nikki.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe that's just a one chance thing. But no, they used it on Monday.
Yeah, but what? And then we went to Ryback and Big Show.
One more thing. Again, she's holding that belt until she beats.
Yeah, 294, which would be
in 90 days.
Yeah, in 90 days.
Yeah, she's had it for like 200 days.
Ah, shit. So she's gonna hold it past SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, whatever. I mean, if that's what we already know, that's what they're gonna do. I mean, getting mad about it is feeding into them.
Indifferent. I'm apathetic. I don't care.
Yeah. And then we go on to Big Show versus Ryback. A lot of people, we talked about how they gave away the big finish on Raw last week, but
assholes.
Yeah, and I'll just cut to the chase. Miz just comes out and attacks both of them for no reason, and then I guess Miz wins the match. Fuck this match. It was slow. It was boring. It was everything we thought it would be, but without a finish. So,
I heard it. I was uploading my reactions. So if you are listening and I have actual live reaction to the ladder match.
Up on YouTube.
Up on the Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling YouTube page. So check that out. Yeah. But I was busy producing that. I heard it like it was a radio match.
It wasn't that. It wasn't. You didn't miss much. But then we go on to the match of the night. I would say John Cena versus Kevin Owens. I love this fucking match. A lot of great back and forth. We saw John Cena do the Code Red. Amazing Red's old finisher. We saw John Cena pull off against Kevin Owens.
Code Red.
The move where he was like, where he was on Owens' back a little bit.
Like for electric chair, but then he drops him on his face.
Yeah, and he flips. No.
That thing! It took a second. It took a second.
Yeah. It was pretty fucking. I've never. And then he did the springboard stunner. So Cena wins, and that we both got a point for that. And then Kevin Owens attacks Cena, does the powerbomb on the side of the ring there. Cena was injured, wasn't on Raw. What did you think of the match? This crowd loved this match.
we can't compare, okay? I think that's one of my biggest beefs going and talking about this. People talking about it. Oh, this is as good as the last match, or blah 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 match of the year.
I would say better than the last match.
I think that's all arbitrary. I think the first one in itself was very fresh. It's not like you got maybe 2 or 3 new moves. I didn't like how he wasn't allowed to really hit anything off the top rope. Like he did the
moonsault.
The moonsault, and he did another move from the top rope that he didn't connect with. But it wasn't that it was anything new, but it was still an exciting match. I mean, in its own right. Owen Cena 1, Owen Cena 2. The only thing that really, I think, makes the first one that much better is the ending wasn't as obvious. The first ending was like, okay, this caught everyone off guard. It took like maybe a second or two to really absorb the fact that Owens won. Just like when Brock Lesnar pinned Undertaker. You know, it took a while when that third hand came down. When Owens started like barking at Cena at the end, like, stay down, get up. In my reaction, I go, that's not good. This is not good. Like, you don't bark up. And then before I could even finish my statement, the stunner into the AA and the 3-pin. And why does it have to be Even Stevens? Why?
Well, I think they're going to play into, July 4th is this big Tokyo show that they're doing. Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens is one of the matches. I think is the main event. Finn Balor is huge in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's going to win the NXT title there, and I think that would make the next match be for the U.S. title because he said he wanted to wrestle. Kevin Owens said on Raw he wanted to wrestle for the U.S. title. So I think the rubber match is going to be for the U.S. title, and that's going to be the hook. Is this time it's for the title? They're neck and neck.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't. I mean.
But how do you? Okay, how do you explain or justify how he does not have the belt because of a guy who is not because he lost to a guy not by the name of John Cena?
John Cena does something.
He's not gonna do that. That's not his. It's John Cena. Hustle, loyalty, and respect.
Well, no. He could just be on commentary, and then Owens himself says like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Gets distracted by John Cena just being there because John Cena's supposed to be like this WWE diplomat in Tokyo. He's just there. I think he knows Mandarin. I know this Chinese thing, but John Cena learns other languages for like these international tours and stuff. So I think it's pretty wild. So I mean, he might just be there. But that's just the way I see it going. I don't know. It's
too screwy for me. I would much rather him, sort of like, and we've had this discussion before. Like, hey, I'm a big boy now. I don't need this belt.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I feel like that would be, and you've made a point where maybe that's shitting on NXT, and I'm like, well, I don't see that as shitting on NXT as much as him just being a jerk.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because it's like, I know for sure if he's gonna lose to fucking Finn Balor, he's not gonna win the series against Cena. That's all I have. That's the only thing that scares me about that. Like, you start at the top, you get Cena, and then you lose to an NXT talent, regardless of how it happens.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to go into either Battleground or SummerSlam if whichever those two are about to happen on? How am I supposed to take his win
seriously?
Yeah, or take him seriously going into that match, and that's the deadly part about starting a guy like him at the top. As much as I love that he's at the top right now, but like you start him from the top, he has no other way to go but down.
This is true, and he's in 3 feuds right now, so you can't really. They kind of
4 now.
Yeah, 4. Yeah. Well, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But then we go into the New Day versus Primetime Players. Xavier Woods and Big E versus, of course, O'Neal and Young. Cut to it. New champs. It was kind of a quick match. We both picked the New Day. I did not think the Primetime Players were going to win this. Seems kind of quick to do this. I think they could have at least gotten another Battleground match out of them. Especially the New Day was killing it. Like even that crowd, like I heard more New Day rocks than New Day sucks, and that's the kind of the fun part about that chant is it's still a chant either way you do it. So
I thought it was going to be in the prediction show. I was like, well, this is going to be a Titus O'Neil showcase. It ended up being a Titus O'Neil showcase.
Yeah.
He got the hot tag and he got the pin.
Yeah.
He got the pin on wood. Big E had a great showing, but in terms of what I thought it could have possibly been, it was definitely no Usos match. You know, you look at a match like that, and I'm winning with high hopes. I'm like, the fans are going to win this. I didn't get the finish I wanted. New Day could definitely hold on to those belts for a while.
Yeah.
Kofi could have won the Money in the Bank. They could have done something really interesting. But I had my whole theory about momentum and why there are no new stars.
A lot of people have a lot of people have their theories and stuff. But yeah, I mean, good for the primetime players. They're a great act, great group, great team.
We still don't know their story yet. We don't have any reason. They didn't fight for the belt. There was no struggle.
They
to
just
the
got
belt.
kind of like a little dance, and then some people like doing the dance when they come out. But that's really it, you know.
Yeah, we don't know how they ended up back together. We still know they still haven't resolved when Titus turned on Darren Young. Again, there was no struggle to get the belt. It was just, okay, they were in the Elimination Chamber. Now they're in this, and they win it. And it's like, well, what am I rooting for? Other than the fact that you're just kind of silly.
Yeah, you're not the New Day instead of the champions. I agree. And then we go into Dean versus Rollins, and we both picked Rollins.
Screwy ending.
Yeah, it's one of those endings where it was a pretty long match, but they both drop with the title, kind of wrestle, and then Rollins ends up with it at the end. I thought the match did go on a little long, but it was the main event. I really liked how they played into the leg. That was a good way to not make it a spot fest, was to have, if you can't climb the ladder, the legs hurt. But what'd you think?
That was a horrible, horrible selling of the legs. All I could think was, man, I bet Stone Cold Steve Austin, maybe Wade Keller, maybe Paul Heyman, Lance Storm. They were probably whatever hair that they had, maybe eyebrows or some shit. They were yanking it out because there was some of the shittiest selling of a leg injury, where it's just like, okay, he would beat the living shit out of his leg for like 10 minutes, and then boom, he just get this burst of energy. And I was like, okay, let's just play into the belief of it all, of adrenaline, the adrenaline rush. But you only get that adrenaline rush once. This happened at least 6, 7, 8 times, and him doing like some devastating moves, even climbing the top of the ladder, and it didn't even look like it hurt. To where it's like, you mean to tell me I watched 25 minutes of you getting your leg beat to a bloody pulp? And the payoff is you falling off the ladder with the belt in your hand?
Yeah. I think it should have been something where he just like got beat because he couldn't climb. Because, I mean, it was just... these guys, I remember last year around this time, we were like, these guys, especially in matches with each other, could do no wrong. You know, we loved all their matches. But now, a year later, they're still wrestling each other. And it doesn't seem like... they're quickly becoming the Cena Orton.
No, that's rough.
No, what I'm saying like it's happened it's a great match every time, but if you see it too much, it's not gonna be important.
Well, if you gotta give us something, you gotta pay it off though. What's the payoff? Fucking what happened the first time? Bray Wyatt shows up, so there's no real clean finish.
Yeah.
And then this shit, a year later, we don't get a real clean finish. We get like, oh yeah, they both hit the ground and it's a jump ball. It's like, you know, it's and just so happens Rollins snatches the belt. There's no pin. There's no payoff. There's nothing. You got Ambrose in the ring about to cry.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no crying.
Doing the Okada.
God, I'm like, this is what's going to be the downfall. Like, all these screwy finishes. So what, a year from now, they're going to feud again? Because I feel like they're going to always meet each other at some points of their career, like, until they're in the Hall of Fame. Like, there's no way. And to call it Cena Orton, at least Cena Orton gave us payoffs to a certain extent. With Jumping the Gun, it's only been 2 big matches between these guys.
No, they wrestled
big matches. You talk about the lumberjack match.
Yeah, all those matches. Yeah.
Yeah, but that wasn't really a big match to me.
Yeah.
I think the Hell in a Cell was the big match.
And then didn't they have another one? The Hell in a Cell. I think that, yeah, 2 or 3 big matches, what have you. But I mean, we'll see. But it kind of was hard to watch this main event, man. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm really into these guys. Like, I'm not trying to shit on these guys at all, but something wasn't clicking with this for me. And I think it might be what you mentioned earlier with, like, they would try to get the leg over, but then he wouldn't go through with selling the leg, which kind of might have subconsciously taken me out of it, not seeing the storyline develop and everything.
Some of the bullshit part of being like a smart, to be smart, it takes away from enjoyment sometimes. We become a little too analytical about what's happening in terms of detail, and what frustrates people about even Raw is that they don't pay attention too much to detail, and it's almost as if we're 2 years old.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have a memory. We can't really distinguish someone getting their legs beat in for 25 minutes and them climbing the top of the ladder. It's like, what do you mean? What? And I mean, like, some pretty brutal shots to the knee and the leg. And
Nothing.
He falls with the belt in hand. So, give us a reason to care. Get some testicular fortitude, WWE, and determine and give one of these guys, like, make us feel sorry for one of these guys.
Yeah. Well, that's what we thought about Money in the Bank. 6 out of 10.
See, the more I think about it, I think it's more like...
You're going down? You're going down to
5? 5. I'm going 5.
Okay, I'm going to stay at 6 just because I'm just trying to stay positive. But I'm going to keep it at 6.
The positivity? You part of the New Day now?
I don't know. I mean, it's just, it works.
Grondy sucks.
Whoa, Grondy rocks.
Grondy
rocks.
Grondy
rocks. No.
So, yeah. So let's... so I finished what? What was that count?
Oh, 3. Yeah, he got 3 right. He picked Sheamus, Cena, and then Nikki. And then I picked Cena.
I picked Rollins too.
Oh yeah, so you got 4 to my 3, and I picked Rollins, Cena, and I picked R-Truth with the pre-show point right there.
The pre-show point.
I mean, I still fell short, man. It's not controversial. I still lost. But,
I know, right? It's not like we fell off the ladder together with the microphone.
But we kick off Raw with another Dusty tribute. It was kind of,
Raw Cleveland!
Yeah, big crowd.
Cleveland's always a fun place for Raw. Always. Oh, yeah. They got their share of wrestlers in there. It's Ohio. They leave themselves open to jokes. Cleveland is the easiest city to bury in the United States.
Mistake by the lake. Cleveland, Ohio.
Dude, they lend themselves.
They love it.
And this is why I want to start off this. And it's like, man, Seth Rollins comes out with a belt, and first you find out that Johnny Manziel's in the building, right?
Yeah.
And Rollins just eats up the fact that he won the belt all by himself, even though he had somewhat the encouraging support of everyone that basically turned on him, like, from J&J, from Kane, and the pep talk from Triple H. They all like, all right, you're a dipshit, get out there and prove yourself to us. He comes out, he's like, fuck y'all, I did this without any of y'all.
Yeah, he pulls out a thank you note.
He throws out a list, yeah, jump in at any point. But, like, he gloats, he shoots on the Ambrose, it's Monday Night Rollins.
Yeah, everyone's getting so pissed at him when he shoots on Johnny Manziel. Then he kind of is like, LeBron James isn't going to bring a championship.
Oh, we haven't even gone there yet. He doesn't, because first he whips out the list.
Yeah.
I made a list of people, because he comes out pretty humble after he talks about how he won it all. And then he's like, I made a list, so guys coming from a small town. It was like a babyface swerve. And then he brings up, I'll let it think. Me, Seth Rollins.
Flips it over. Seth. Starts saying, like, you can name your kids after me. Like, gives people permission to name their kids after him, which is fucking hilarious.
And he shoots on the authority on how he did it by himself. And then he turns, and he raises the belt up high. He's like, you see this? Suck it up, because this is what a championship looks like. Ain't no championship coming to this town. Johnny Idiot Face. He calls him Johnny Idiot Face. Ain't gonna win you no title. LeBron James came home. He ain't gonna ever win you no title. And he's like, I can't. So suck it up now until I leave this dump of a town. And it was probably one of the best. I mean, I always give praises to The Miz for probably being the purest heel on the roster right now. But and Seth has his glimpses of being like a really ultimate heel. Mm-hmm. But this performance was his best heel performance yet. Untouched. And even when he walks over to point at Johnny Manziel, the cameraman is in the hard shot. That's one of the things, the details. All of a sudden, the cameraman's in the fucking way.
Oh, really?
That was pretty fucking funny. He just buries Cleveland. And, and I bet Cleveland's so used to it, they actually cheer it a little bit. I mean, the heat is on, but you kind of hear some cheers like, oh, man, why us?
Yeah.
Like, fuck, man, Cleveland, what was it, The Rock, when he buried Cleveland? Cleveland doesn't rock. Cleveland totally sucks.
Yeah, Cleveland is kind of.
And then Ambrose shows up. Anything you want to jump in before I bring it?
It was a great kickoff to Raw. Ambrose comes out, kind of attacks Rollins. Rollins leaves, and then he holds up Raw, saying he's not going to leave until he maybe gets the title match, right?
Until he just, I think he just wants Rollins.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants the belt as much as he wants Rollins. And he hijacks this show with a cheap pop.
Yeah, and then Triple H and Seth was in the back. Rollins was like, "What are you gonna do about this?" And Triple H just says it's taken care of. And Seth kind of complains a little bit. Then they go back to the ring, and Sheamus comes out.
Yeah, Ambrose still chilling.
Yeah, and then it goes into a match with Dean and Sheamus. This was an alright match, back and forth a little bit. Sheamus took control in the early going. A big bulldog from Dean got him the advantage. But pretty much Sheamus is about to leave. Randy Orton comes out to stop him. And from that distraction, Dean takes the victory. I thought it was pretty early that they kind of buried the person who won the Money in the Bank. I mean, yeah.
Oh, that always happens.
Yeah, I know it. But Jesus Christ, man, that's...
Yeah, I think the only other person that had the Money in the Bank title was, I think, because Seth lost with it. I'm trying to think. I think Cena was probably the only guy who had the Money in the Bank who didn't suffer losses. But I think he jumped a little bit with what happened backstage. They were actually really pissed at Rollins about the statements he made because, they were like, we're on your side, bro, and you can just throw us under the bus. So we're sick of your sniffling and stuff, and you're going to have to really prove yourself as a champion. So we're going to choose your next opponent. Like, they talk about how they would choose his next opponent for the belt. And because, you could have kept your fucking mouth shut and gave us kudos, but no, you chose otherwise. So I think that sets up for the rest of the night. Yeah,
a little foreshadowing there. And then after Dean takes Sheamus out, Orton goes in and attacks Sheamus, and then Sheamus dodges the RKO, slips out of the ring.
Fuck that!
Sheamus and Randy Orton, man. That's just boring.
I just get tired. I just doze off. I just kind of doze off when they're in the ring together.
They're like a lullaby.
If they can just get in there for 1 second, I can't stay awake. It's the most amazing thing.
It's true.
So I'm not looking forward to this rivalry whatsoever. They try it almost at least once a year over the past 4 years or something like that, and it's never gotten better.
No.
Give me Cena Orton any day.
Over Sheamus and Orton? Yeah, of course. Then we go. Rollins meets up with J&J in the back. Joey's pretty pissed. He wants another shot. He beat him, of course, last week. Or J&J beat him last week with the help of Dean Ambrose and Kane.
Well, Rollins is he first he gloats, but then he's willing to take them back. He admits that he'll take J&J back with a little intel to who possibly Stephanie and Triple H chose for the opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, we don't know, and if we did know, we ain't gonna tell you.
Yeah.
And if anything, if I was in anything, Mercury, if I had a choice in it, Noble, if I had a choice in it, the guy who pinned you right here should have Is that a good Noble?
It works.
Okay. Like he should get a shot for pinning you, and reminds him is like, if you ever go into the record books ever, and like your win-loss column, you're always gonna have a loss to J&J Security.
Yeah, that was fucking sick. We've already discussed it. I want to see J&J as their own tag team. I think they'd be great. There's a certain aesthetic they have with being real quick in suits.
They wouldn't be taken seriously, and they would just do job after job.
I mean, I'm not saying I want to see them with the belts, but I'm saying they probably could have a good...
Why can't they have the belt?
Because what you said, they wouldn't be taken seriously.
I know, but I'm just saying,
I'm just saying, maybe you could build on it. I think they would have a great feud with Lucha Dragons. I think they'd have a great feud with New Day.
Oh, Los Matadores.
Yeah, all these guys are just screaming for another...
Or even Harper and Rowan. They would obviously have to be baby faces.
Yeah, I'm saying that, they'd probably be... I would say start them out as heels, get them going through Lucha Dragons and Matadors, and then people be like, hey, these guys are pretty good. Then that's when you put them on Harper and Rowan. And then the New Day. Yeah,
because you have to face with this guy they can give a fuck about in the first place. I.e., and it's funny because the Lucha Dragons look like they were about to get a really good push. Yeah. And even fucking
for the belts maybe.
Oh, what's his name?
Kalisto.
Kalisto looked like he was gonna be. I remember in a prior podcast, I was like, well, who's gonna get the push? Is it going to be Neville or is it going to be Kalisto? They couldn't give them both pushes at the same time.
And now that's ridiculous.
And now they chose Neville. They clearly chose Neville for some crazy reason, unless they just resigned to keep them on Superstars until the maturity factor. They got to pay their dues down there, or he has to pay his dues down there, and then move up to the main roster, because I can see a really great feud between Kalisto and Neville, and that would be one for the fucking ages in terms of like
high flying acrobatics.
Yeah, like, or what's called middleweight, what cruiserweight. It would be beautiful. It would be fucking gorgeous. But we're gonna wait. It's gonna be a while till that happens. I see WrestleMania 33.
Maybe, hopefully. What'd you think of R-Truth coming out with the plunger and everything?
Man, fuck him, man. Man. Fuck that.
It was real funny. He came out and got on.
It wasn't funny.
He got, not the plunger part, but he got on commentary, and the whole joke was he thought he was on commentary, not realizing he had an actual match. Yeah. He was like, "Oh, I have a match," but before that, he called Byron Saxton coach, which is hilarious.
That was funny.
He's got his moments. He tries to do the Sandow thing, but they just give him so much shit that you can't get out of that.
Apparently his new gimmick is that he's kind of absent-minded about things, and it started with him thinking he was in Money in the Bank, and he's about to really spit the greatest promo of his entire career.
Yeah.
And now he's like, "Hey, what are you doing in commentary? You got a match. So what else is going to be next? Like, hey, dude, like."
Yeah, I mean, R-Truth, he rolled Barrett up here, won again, and then Barrett attacked him at the end. So I think, I don't know, you can definitely see this feud as very stagnant, very low, very not even mid-card, low, like curtain jerker kind of feud.
Yeah, man.
But with that said, I think they're having great matches. It's kind of like...
You call that a great match?
A great storyline. I would say it was funny, it was entertaining.
What's the payoff?
What's the payoff?
What could possibly be the payoff? That they actually fight? For the laugh. But could they possibly fight for the King gimmick?
I think that's hopefully it just
the King Truth, and then he just gets the power of the King and turn heel, or is he just a shucking and jiving King?
I think we already have the heel King, so I think if they did go this route, he would have to be a face king. So I would say a shucking and jiving.
When is the last face king we've had? Because let's go through the previous kings. I think the last one was Sheamus.
No, Sheamus was a heel at the time. King
Yeah,
Sheamus.
yeah, I'm saying like
you had Sheamus, Regal after that. You had King Booker. You had, of course, Jerry Lawler. You had the Macho King when he was a heel.
There's no king in between. Was there like a
King Mabel?
Was there a king like Edge?
Well, yeah, there was faces that won King of the Ring, but they wouldn't be like the king gimmick. They were just, I won, that was a fun tournament, and then they would just use it for something else. It was never like, they would never like dress up as a king if they won King of the Ring.
Yeah, so
Sheamus. I know, like, Billy Gunn won King of the Ring.
Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah, I think that was in Greensboro, actually.
The Carlo. But yeah, I just we'll see. I hope if it does turn into this thing where it's like, you know what, I'll make a better king than you. You're losing matches. You're losing to me of all people. How about I deserve to be king? And then they have a match for the king's name. And if he was King Truth and then just became like a real asshole,
yeah,
that would be awesome.
Yeah, like especially with the name King Truth, you know, like maybe
a double swerve.
And then Barrett face?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't.
Because Bad News Barrett was a face. I mean, to a certain extent. I mean,
he got over, but he was trying to be a heel.
Yeah, but he got over.
Then they have Machine Gun Kelly in the back with Ryder, Slater, Fandango, Emma,
Fox,
and Summer Bray. Yeah, I guess Machine Gun Kelly's just a cool guy hanging out with all these guys. You know,
he's from Cleveland.
Yeah,
and he's in the back kicking it, and they're just all sucking up to him.
Yeah, which is a good foreshadowing, kind of what they do with the Entourage and all these other celebrities they have.
The fuck shit, man. The only reason Machine Gun Kelly is even in the building is because he's a WWE guy. I think he's somehow incorporated his music contract is somehow incorporated with.
Well, I think he is a general I ran cross country with a few people from Cleveland, Ohio, and they swear by this motherfucker. Like, for some reason, that region of the country, he's a big deal. So this was good to have him here.
You remember when he opened up for Cena?
Yeah, he came out with Cena.
So Flo Rida opened for The Rock.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And it was a good performance. I take nothing from the guy, but it's just something about music acts on Raw.
Well, this one was good.
I didn't even watch it.
Oh, you didn't see what happened?
Oh, I saw what happened afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Because my shit went out. Like, what is this? Okay. It went out on me. I had internet issues, so it went out on me, and I don't care. So I had to go back and
rewatch it.
Rewatch it yesterday, and I saw what happened.
That's cool.
So you want to go into it?
Well, we go into Kevin Owens. He comes out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he just pretty much says John Cena's not here tonight. He knows he belongs here. He didn't need Owens. He didn't need John Cena trying to hog the spotlight. Even though John Cena won, he's worried about John Cena hogging the spotlight.
And he felt disrespected.
Yeah. So then he does the NXT Open Challenge, and that's when Dolph Ziggler of all people come out. Hometown crowd. And he says he's going to bring a title to Cleveland. He's going to bring the NXT title to Cleveland.
Which was so weird. It almost felt like he was desperate for a title. He's like, oh yeah, like I heard that there was a title shot, and I'm damn sure going to take it. Kind of thing. Like, it's NXT, man. Like.
But he said the title wasn't even on the line. What a dick. He put
that was pretty funny because what I was waiting for, maybe I think there was a glitch in my shit too, but. When he's talking, does he say he's going to win a title in Cleveland? Did he say that?
Yeah, he said he's going to bring a title back.
Okay, because I was waiting for the cheap pop,
Oh, yeah.
And I think it glitched somehow, and I missed that part.
Give a championship to Cleveland.
Yeah, okay. So I was waiting for the big spot, right? The big spot is them, because it's for the title. Lillian Garcia has to announce where he's from, and that would be the big pop, like probably the biggest pop of the night.
Well, he said the Q. He said right here in the Q, which is the name of the arena, the Q Arena. Mm-hmm. So he was dropping all kinds of
like hometown love.
Yeah.
But like when she's going to do it, because that's the thing, in this corner, blah 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 blah, from Cleveland, Ohio, right?
Yeah.
But before she can even get into it, it's like, wait a minute. What you go?
He says, "Wait, I'm gonna see."
No, Blondie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, wait a minute, Blondie. I never said this was for the title. I just like, oh man, that was gold. That was gold. I sat back on it. Is this for the... Oh, he called her Blondie too, which was pretty funny.
But this was a great match.
It was a fun match. It went 2 breaks long.
Yeah, Ziggler goes for a dropkick right at the early going. Owens dodges it and then lays him in for the senton. I thought that was a great counter move for the 2 count. Crowd popped right there, and then crowd was just excited right into this whole match.
Long match, man. 2 breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, it's that second hour, man. That second hour is that's the gravy train right there, man.
I loved how Ziggler was trying to beat the 10 count, and it looked like he was really trying to rush in, and he just runs over some dude sitting on the announce table.
It was one of the guys, because he had got thrown into the bell keepers.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the bell keepers that probably tried to like escape, and he probably got caught contact of him, and maybe he's trying to climb out of that area, but Dolph is like rushing out, and the guy just gets trampled on the way out.
Yeah,
I'm like, this guy, maybe he's like a boom guy or like a camera, like a what do you call it, grip guy or something like that.
It was fucking hilarious. And then he hits the Famouser.
He gets a super kick. His super kick was fucking sick because it was about to be a cannonball, which led to a super kick, and then he hits the Famouser.
And he can't. And so he hits the Famouser, and then eventually it lets to a 2 count. He tries to do the zigzag. Owens counters it.
He hits that fucker.
Oh,
he hits the zigzag.
Oh, he counters with the zigzag. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to read my notes here. And eventually the pop-up powerbomb out of nowhere, and then Owens wins. Did you see the Cena girl in the corner? There's this little girl doing this.
Oh, well.
You can't see me to Owens.
Well, when he came out the first time, that same little girl got scared as fuck. Like, I think it was like, let's go Cena sign or something, or like Owens something. It was something, and he kind of looked at her, and she kind of dropped her eyes and put the
sign down.
Yeah, dude, it was hilarious. He scared the shit out of her, man, and she just folded. And then he went back to her, which I thought was great because that's all right. Heel. This is a good night to be a heel.
Yeah.
And that moment was a great moment where, like, I think she kind of like hesitates. She's like, no.
And then she does
it.
Yeah. And he kind of mockingly does it back to her.
Yeah, that's great. I thought that was probably my favorite moment of the night.
And then we had back when Machine Gun Kelly and everyone was hanging out, Paige asked everyone if they could do a Divas meeting. And then so here was this meeting with Summer Rae, Fox, Rosa Mendez, Layla, Emma, Tamina, and Naomi.
Oh, the missing Tamina and Naomi.
Yeah, Naomi's like even out of the shot, even when they're showing it. Like
you still see that ass though. The pants she had on. Oh my God! I was like, what are you doing? You better get that in the shot. That's money right there, man.
It's true.
Oh, she's so. It's like her ass looks bigger than normal sometimes. Like it's like airbrushed. And that was one of those moments. But that's about it. That's all I'm saying. I'll let you continue.
No, it's all good, man. And then she's pretty much trying to get a rebellion going against the Bella twins. A rebellion.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Did she call it that, or did you just pull that out of your ass?
Just came right top
off the dome.
Off the dome, man. And
Grondy dome.
The Bellas came in and heard all that, and it was like, yo, we talked to Stephanie, and there's gonna be no kind of revolution going on here. And plus, Paige, you turned on every teammate you've ever had. And that's when everyone's like, all right, Stephanie's involved, and you kind of have turned on everybody you've ever team you've ever faced. So they all like kind of dip on her, and then they set up the match between the Bella twins versus Paige.
No, but she mentions it before they set it up. She goes, well, check it. I'm facing the Bellas tonight. Like she mentions that she had already asked for the challenge, and she was like, well, you got to face both of them anyway. May as well make it official. Like she says that in her speech. So yeah, like. I don't know. Fuck this Divas, man. Hey, did you look at them? Look at that Divas roster. Look at it. It's pathetic.
Well, you know what I think they're going to do? I think Paige is going to bring up all the NXT girls to face the Bellas. Or at least 2 of them.
Too soon.
You think so?
Too soon.
Charlotte, Becky
you don't
Lynch.
want them anywhere in that path within the next 90 days. I'm telling you, man, it's a waste. It's a waste. Hold everyone back. 90 days. 90 days. 3 months from now. Say going into, say, what would that be?
Like a Survivor Series.
Yes, please. Just hold everyone back. They're doing just fine down there.
Or Hell in the Cell. October, whatever.
Hell in a Cell. It would be Hell in a Cell. Everyone's doing fine, man. Like, don't bring them, don't put them in, what's that word? In front of the, what would it be? The
Path of Fire or something?
The wrath of the Bellas, the 90 days, man. You don't want to do it, man. You don't want to do it. If anything, just, I don't know, keep convincing people. It's not like I'm going to fucking care anyway.
Yeah. Well, going on. Moving on.
Yeah. Randy Orton versus Kane. Crickets. I mean, which makes for this match reminded me of when Kane versus Jericho. It was nothing wrong with the match. It was actually a very classic old style match. But it's just stale because we don't want to see Kane so much in this role, and Randy Orton, since he's been done with Rollins, and that wasn't that great of a feud. He's sort of
drifting
in limbo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around, doesn't make a sound. Well, if Randy Orton and Kane wrestle in front of 3,000 people, did they actually see it? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Sheamus shows up, and then Kane makes it a no holds barred match. And Orton catches a bro kick, and Kane gets the pin. Like, you got three. It's like limbo mania.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. As soon as I saw this segment where it was Kane, Orton, and Sheamus, I was like, this is limbo mania. And going into there's going to be another feud. We see Miz, Big Show, and Ryback. I feel like that's another limbo mania. They got these 2-3-way feuds going on right now. And it just doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Oh, look, that results in a triple threat match. Yay! The triple threat! Yay! We got 2 of them. That makes it a six triple threat.
There needs to be another triple threat. We get a triple threat.
Well, we got a triple threat with the fucking Bellas and the
Oh, yeah.
They got, and then you got Triple H, Rollins, and
Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah, like it's all in threes, man. 3 is the magic number. And today's Raw was brought to you by the number 3. This is fucking like Sesame Street and shit. Kane's and Rollins is backstage, and this was after Kane just gets the victory, and he's back there walking. Rollins shows up. He rubs the victory, the fact that he won the belt in Kane's face. And then they go back and forth until Rollins says something about Kane's family. Now, I didn't miss that. Maybe I tuned out, but do you know what he specifically said?
He said, Kane said you can never do it on your own, and then Rollins said, just because you could never do it on your own doesn't mean anyone can't. You've always had people like the Authority and even your family like the Undertaker. And that's when he grabbed his shit.
He grabbed them, and they got real heated. That's when I kind of perked up, and he's like, don't, he grabbed it. Don't you ever say anything about my family, blah, 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 blah. And then Rollins like, what the fuck? Don't you ever put your fucking hands on me. And it's like just real legitimate like beef. Like, I was like, fuck. Like that was actually entertaining, because we've seen them great before, but we've never seen this where it's like, oh yeah, I'm really bucking up to your ass.
Yeah.
Like, you're nothing. You think you're nothing now? You're nothing to me. And I was like, damn, that sucks for Kane, Back in the day, he grabbed someone's throat or even...
It was done.
Motherfuckers, all he had to do was grab someone and they were in fear. And now, it means nothing. So, just, that's the storyline, it seems.
Yeah. Then we had
and Rollins shoots on him saying that I hope that you are my next opponent, so I can put you in your old ass place. But yeah, damn.
I think we definitely need to see a Kane bring back the mask, do something.
Please.
Yeah, something to spice. We got all these feuds now. Where we already talked about limbo feuds. just one little thing like that would make several fresh matches. It would make a fresh Dean and old school Kane feud would be good. I think a Rollins old school Kane feud would be good. A Wyatt old school Kane feud would be good. And these are all guys that are kind of in limbo right now. But moving on, we had Big Show versus The Miz, old tag champs, going at it. Ryback on commentary. It starts out with Big Show chasing Miz all around the ring, and then eventually Big Show fakes an injury, ropes him in for the big chops. Ryback eventually distracts the Big Show. Big Show gets counted out, and Miz in his hometown gets a little sleazeball victory and celebrates hilariously on top of the ramp.
He wasn't announced as a hometown. He's still residing in Hollywood, California. Now on SmackDown, they were in Columbus, and he actually came out as like, "Oh wait," you know, and he's like, "Well, fuck this place, whatever." And I'm thinking, you know, he would get the Punk spot, the Punk home heel spot, where Punk would go home and he would always just shit on Chicago. And I thought this was going to be the case, but he doesn't even get the opportunity to in this one, which is a shame. But I think one burial of Cleveland, I guess, is good enough.
Yeah. I think that if you're a fan of The Miz, like Johnny Manziel, he had the Miz shirt, you know.
Yeah.
I think you are a fan of him doing some sleazeball shit like this. So I think that this is kind of having him show off a little bit.
But Miz, to me, I think he's the best. He's the best consistently heel in the company.
You don't think Rollins?
Rollins has his moments where he's cheered.
Yeah.
No one ever cheers Miz. And Miz gives you good and plenty reason why you want to see him get punched in the face. Every time.
Yeah.
And
sure.
especially with this Hollywood role and him dressing up like Kanye West and shit. You know,
ridiculous.
Like
man.
he is an asshole. And he, again, the best in terms of consistency of heels, and he constantly get heels heat. The most. My hand's up, my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut.
Yeah.
Boo! How he treated Sandow, like, you know, he does it correctly, and we look at this and it's like I feel like he's gonna out heel the Big Show in this feud.
Oh yeah, I think he is the heel. I think he's like the Weasley heel, and he just keeps getting in the way of what you theoretically want to see, which is these two big monsters collide.
No, really, honestly, him in between this makes it interesting. It actually makes it somewhat interesting. But the attention heat that Big Show should be getting is basically transferring. He's like the Ross Perot of this feud right now, you know? Like all the votes for the Republican Party should go to you know, to Bush, you know, to Big Show. Yeah. But you got this little dude down in Texas, Ross Perot. He's taking a percentage of the heat, and I think that's what Miz is doing. Which I guess again, ultimately he will take all the heat, and you're gonna see possibly Ryback and Big Show teaming up to take him out.
I can see that. I can totally see that. Should be
Rice Show, Showback. Yeah,
there you go.
Oh,
whatever. But
Showback.
We go in. Roman Reigns comes out, pissed at Bray Wyatt, and then Bray Wyatt comes up on the screen, cuts one of those random promos he does with the light shining, you know, and then he kind of reveals that he has a picture of Roman Reigns playing with his little girl.
Well, that was the PSA earlier. I think started the second hour. They did like a little PSA about being a dad, right? Mm-hmm. And it's basically Roman in the window and some creepy male lady like gawking at him through the window as he's flexing from what she can see. But inside he's actually my little teapot short and stuff with his daughter. That's why Wyatt sings that song. And that shot is basically from the PSA. And I think that shot itself is not like just this photo. I mean, basically, it's a promo shot.
Yeah.
I think this shot is going to be in different magazines promoting fatherhood. I think they got commissioned from the national.
They're doing stuff with it, like a Be a Star kind of.
Well, no, I think this is actually ran through like U.S. government.
Oh, cool.
Like an actual government-owned PSA.
Cool.
On being a father. So, you open up, like, I don't know, Rolling Stones, you flip through, you're going to see this ad by the National Ads Council. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
So Reigns has this photo, and everyone just goes, ooh. And I'm like, oh, but it's an ad. It's not like he went and took, like, a photo from his, like if they show Reigns go home and look for the photo in his, like, album of him and his kids and it's missing. Like, no, that's not the case.
What did you think about this, like storyline beyond that? Like, kind of...
Wyatt's doing the job.
Yeah.
That's all I see in this. And it's like, I'm looking at him, it's like, you had the opportunity to make this guy, like, what's so credible about him going against Reigns? What's so credible?
I guess you just want to see the guy who cost Reigns the briefcase get his, No! You want to see Reigns, you want to see Wyatt win! You want to see Wyatt win?
Us marks do.
Oh, just generally?
I mean, everyone wants to talk about how Reigns is getting over. And I go like, wait a minute.
Well, I don't really see that too much, but I don't know why you'd want to see Wyatt win.
Because if he's supposed to be the new face of fear, and he's giving these big shots to, he couldn't even beat Ryback, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Cena, Ambrose, Undertaker, Ryback. And it's like, I'm the new face of fear, and what am I afraid of? Remind me, what am I afraid of again? You losing? Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of now.
You're famous for that mid-card spot. They don't want that.
You're the new face of job. That's what you are. They need a PSA on his ass about employment.
What do you think?
He did all the jobs.
What do you think of this Paige versus the Bellas match?
What?
It was a great double team. Do you see that? The Bella Twins throw Paige to the ropes, and they both pick up to her one leg each, and then throw it right down her face. A Bella team, double team move.
It was like the Fantastics, man. That's how awesome that was.
Oh, yeah. And then Brie wins with the rack attack.
The bull hammer. All I can think is poor Barrett. And when the final count went down, I go, man, poor Barrett. She does the Alabama Slam. I think at the pay-per-view, they don't even give that credit. They don't even shout out Dusty for that.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
No, I didn't notice that.
That's that Alabama Slammer. That's Dusty's move. And that's Nikki's move. She normally pulls that off in her matches, but like she doesn't do it here. Maybe they're replacing the Alabama Slam with the bullhammer because it's not getting her to victory. It's setting up for the rack attack.
I don't know, man. You've thought more about this than I've thought about the Bellas in a while. Like, I think she's still awful, but she's getting better. But I guess she's always gonna be on Raw. I don't know. Like, her spot's pretty solidified. She's Cena's wife. So it's like, what's the point of you don't want to boo her because it's like, what's the point? It's not like you booing her is gonna make her go away. It's not like cheering for her is gonna make her elevate. It's just like, I'm just tired of it, man. I'm bored. And
now we're locked in.
Yeah,
and you're talking about bringing us with NXT girls and getting in the way of fucking Hurricane Nikki.
I don't know.
You're trying to lay these bitches to waste.
I just think that would be a good gimmick. Like, have a Nexus, but for the ladies.
No, you don't want to lump them up like that.
You wouldn't call them Nexus. But
no,
you just have.
I don't want to lump them up at all. Give them their individual shine. Why do you want to lump them up?
Because it would just fit with Paige's whole thing of trying to find.
It'd be a waste.
No.
Because you want these girls to come up and be an impact individually. You group them up, it's less impact. Sorry, it's just. I mean, it's not like the Radicals coming in, where they actually were. Even Dean Malenko, fucking Perry Saturn, fucking Eddie Guerrero. Like those guys individually held their own weight because they were already over.
Yeah, for sure.
On a national stage, they were helping kick WWE's ass. These girls over at NXT, they're not national yet, They're still unknown. So if they go up and they're like this group, They're gonna always be. They're not gonna be like the female version of the Shield. You know, they would just be three girls lumped together, and none of them. All the individual points that's getting them so over at NXT. The reason why motherfuckers even watch NXT is for the women's division. It's all gone. All that credibility's gone.
I think you could do a little better than what you're saying. Like, of course, you bring them all in at first, and then one turns on one. Then
No, we don't want them to turn.
Then you got the matches.
Just come up fighting each other anyway.
I don't know, man. I think that's where they're going with it. I think that's where they're going with it, with Paige and everything.
Wrong move, dude. Wrong move.
But then we got Peter's favorite part of the night, Machine Gun Kelly live performance, all his greatest hits in a medley for Peter.
Shit.
What'd you think?
I didn't watch it.
Oh, well, it was...
I skipped, because this, right by now, I'm watching...
I would say comparable, let's compare it to when Wiz Khalifa came out. I would say he had he had a band with him, so, and then he had like some singers and like a few hype men, so it was definitely a bigger production than when Wiz Khalifa came out the last time. And then, he did a few of his songs. I don't know any of them. And then...
they probably did the one where he brought Cena out, too.
Oh, I think that's one of his hits. I think he did that one. I know he's got a song with, like, Waka Flocka. But...
Waka Flocka.
I know it's one of his big songs, man. But, like, then Kevin Owens comes out.
I know. Call me Steve. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm a wild boy.
Yeah.
Oh. That song's like 5 years old, man.
I know, but that's like, I keep seeing this guy, Machine Gun Kelly, just pop up in my life, man. Like, I know, like, I was, like, in Florida one time, and that song was real popular in Florida for this one radio station in Tampa. And then, like, I know he did the Warped Tour. And then one time I was watching some award show, and, like, P. Diddy had, like, all the people that were signed to, like, P. Diddy's record label come out. He was one of them.
He was one of them.
And then in WrestleMania.
But I think that's a joint, I think it's a joint partnership. With WWE and Machine Gun Kelly and Flo Rida and what's the Let It Rock? What's that dude's name?
I forget that dude. But
you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I think they're all in conjunction.
Isn't it like Rudolph? Aaron Rudolph?
Yeah, Rudolph. Yeah, whatever. The fuck his name is. Rudolph douchebag.
Yeah.
And I think they are partners of the WWE. That's why they constantly come back. They don't ever bring anyone different.
Yeah, I mean, this was a good spot, especially with Cleveland, especially what they were going to do. They haven't done anything like this for a long time. Kevin Owens comes out, and Machine Gun Kelly pushes him.
Well, because Owens denies him the dap. He's clapping, he's giving him the slow clap, and then Machine Gun's like, hey, thanks, man. He goes out to give him dap, and Owens just kind of looks at him like he's an idiot. And Kelly's like, what the fuck, man? Well, fuck you, and he pushes him. You trying to play tough, and he pushes him.
Yeah, and then Kevin Owens kicks him right after that in the gut. He trips over his own like drum stand or whatever.
I think he gives him a good one though.
Yeah, he was kind of shocked, like, oh fuck, man.
He hit me.
And then he
oh shit, he hit me.
Power bombs him, drops him off the stage onto some tables.
The crash table.
Yeah, which was pretty awesome, even to see like some celebrities get involved this much.
And I think it was probably like I was listening. I think that's the first ever music payoff. First time any musical act showed up.
Years.
It got jacked.
Yeah.
But when he brought him up, I was like, he's going to hurt himself because I think when he gets him up, it's almost like Kelly has second thoughts about wanting to take the spot. So he kind of moves. I'm like, what are you doing? Stop. Just let yourself free.
Yeah.
So when he tosses him, he lands awkwardly. He doesn't land as much on the crash pad as he should. He kind of catches the edge of it. Yeah. Only because he changes his mind. This is what wrestlers, this what sets wrestlers apart from people who show up to take bumps or to, do something. He fucking changed his mind. He almost fucking hurt himself. And all I can really think is like, that's the worst entourage ever.
Yeah, where were your people, man?
They were looking. They were standing right there watching. Like, they were like in the shot, like watching their boy get demolished. And Machine Gun, and this is what I heard too, like Machine Gun, you not only did you just get kicked in the gut and power bombed onto a table, why you're getting up right now?
Yeah, I saw that, and I think his boys that we already made mention to were helping him a little bit and everything. But yeah, I don't know what they could have milked that for at least till the commercial break.
Bring out the ambulance,
Yeah.
put the neck brace on him, put him on the stretcher, wheel him out, have him put the thumb in the air or some shit like that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, they could have milked it a little bit, but I mean,
I'm a small guy, and I'm bigger than Kelly.
yeah.
And I would have sold that shit like I just got attacked by ISIS.
I guess.
You know what I'm saying?
I think the thing is, even if you agree to do all that, there's still like, oh well, I still gotta look cool doing it, you know?
No. I
know, but I think that's
swift. I think it was just swift booking. Like they just picked him up and toted him off.
Yeah.
We've seen worse than
Or
that.
don't put the camera on him. You know, you do that fine. If that's what you're, just don't put the camera on him afterwards. Saxton was cracking me up. He was acting like this was like heinous. So he's like, oh my god, I can't believe they did this to Machine Gun Kelly.
Fuck Saxton. He fucked up too.
Oh yeah, he fucked up a bunch tonight.
Oh, one was really bad.
What's up?
Oh, are we there yet?
Oh, was it the 6-man?
Okay, so we're the 6-man now.
Yeah. This was my fucking favorite match of the night. The New Day.
It was fun.
The New Day versus Neville and Primetime Players. Great match. I thought it was interesting where Big E tossed Darren Young into the turnbuckle, and then Woods and Kofi both caught him with the super kick. That was a great triple team.
That was a great job.
And then they knock O'Neal off the ring to pretty much stop the hot tag from happening. But then Darren Young tags Neville. Gigantic ovation with that hot tag.
Neville was the star.
Yeah, teasing the Red Hour at the beginning. Lots of back and forth action. Darren Young hits him with the backbreaker maneuver. Tags Neville in again.
Kingston gets a lot of minutes in the ring.
Yeah, I mean he's a great worker.
And he's selling the rib injury. He's taped up, and they're basically using him. They set him up really nice for the payoff, which is the Red Arrow.
The Red Arrow. And then Neville and the Primetime Players win. Neville getting the pin instead of the new champs, Primetime Players, but I guess that's nitpicky.
I would appreciate a Neville Kingston feud.
Oh yeah, that would be fucking nuts.
That'd be really fun. You can put Neville with anybody. I want Neville Big Show.
Yeah, Neville. I would think that'd be awesome having like the David versus Goliath aspect of
real one, like a real one. I think it would be in terms of
Big Show wouldn't even have to do anything. Neville would just be working around.
Yeah. In terms of aesthetic, you say Bryan versus Brock. Like I feel like this could be. It wouldn't be fun, you know. It would be actually kind of scary, right? Brock versus Bryan. But this could be fun.
Hell yeah.
And this could really, out of all the feuds, could elevate Neville. This could really make Neville a main eventer, even though it's a big
fantasy booking.
I know
at this point.
It totally could.
Oh yeah, that I think it's a Mania feud right there.
God, yes it is. They're gonna throw it on like
Superstars.
Yeah, they're gonna
tune in the main event next week.
Yeah, they're gonna put it on like it's
a network exclusive at 10 a.m.
At like 6:30 a.m. Yeah, there we go.
And then we have Kane and Dean in the back. They tease a little tension there.
They tease also a face turn for Kane.
Which I think if Kane just not necessarily face turn, just puts the mask back on and wrestles Dean, I think that'd be because where's Dean going after Rollins feud? I mean, we already know that he's not going to be the one rematching Rollins. But I think if Kane puts the mask on to prove to Dean that he can still work, I think that's a great feud to get Dean into another, hopefully better SummerSlam angle and just push him along.
But they don't have. But that's the thing. Well, yeah, the Heat though. I mean, that means Dean would have to take the pin.
No, it would just be maybe one match.
Dean would have to lose. Everything all right?
Yeah, everything's cool.
What time is it?
1:23. And then we go into the main event segment of Raw. Triple H and Stephanie come out. Do the same old thing. Pretty much talk about Orton. Talk about how they run everything. Pretty much say that the rematch is not going to be with J&J. Not going to be with Kane. Not going to be with Dean Ambrose. And crowd boos the fuck out of that, and says, "But who? But who was it be?" And Rollins comes out pissed, and then Triple H says, "What's gonna happen with the pressures on?"
Well, he comes out pretty cocky. He comes out like, yeah, he's happy-go-lucky.
Because I guess it's not gonna be Dean.
Well, he's thinking they're gonna just give him a pussyfoot opponent. Like he's sitting there like, yeah, what you got? Hey, yeah, he's smiling, yeah, Oh. Tough break, kid.
Yeah. And then they announce.
Brock
Brock Lesnar comes out, jump skin, has a Suplex City T-shirt on. Apparently, every city that he goes to is gonna say like the area code.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, did he just make that for Cleveland?
Yeah, apparently, yeah. Every time he's gonna be there, or maybe even every time at Raw, they're gonna have like Suplex City shirts.
The city of is gonna say Hershey.
Hershey,
Hershey, Pennsylvania. This way. That's pretty clever.
So yeah, but it's Battleground. It's not SummerSlam. What do you think?
I think they and this is what the detail part fucks up, because I guess a lot of people were hoping, and me too, that a reaction from Michael Cole would have been pretty
understandable.
Needed,
yeah.
Needed. Yeah, I think that's probably the bulk of it. Of that moment itself, he circles the ring, he gets in, he doesn't say a word. Paul Heyman doesn't say a word. Stephanie and Triple H step out the ring, look at it. We go from a point where Rollins at one point was knocking the chair down. You remember at the when they did the snow show?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not leaving this chair. Brock can show up, you got to take it from me. He shows up, he gets up, he knocks the chair down. There's one moment where they're backstage, and like he doesn't even blink to Brock Lesnar. You remember that?
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden,
he's scared.
He's shitting in his fucking leather
because he
pants.
doesn't have the authority with him anymore.
He didn't have the authority then.
Well, he had J&J, he had Kane, he had Big Show.
Not at that moment in that shot.
Yeah. But I'm saying like his back has his back.
I just thought he didn't give a fuck. Either or. I just felt like, wow, that's a change. Or maybe he's sensing the vengeance of it all. Because there's one thing to be like, hey, I got a match with you. It's another to be like, hey, you fucked me. I'm coming out for blood. Yeah. Because that's how he came back after WrestleMania. He still had blood on him. And he's like, I want Rollins! I want him now! Ah! And he fucks up Cole. You know? So this guy's a different type of... This guy you don't fuck with. But it was just too much too soon in terms of his reaction being so scared, where he doesn't even look him in the face. And he kind of looks at his face and says, no, and then sort of turns away, you know. How does this play out for Battleground, huh?
I think it's going to look good. I think we got already Roman Reigns and Bray. We got Brock and Rollins. Probably Orton and Sheamus. So it might be a toss-up, but they got 5 weeks. I want to see. I mean, it's all depending on how well they build it. You know, and 5 weeks is a long time. Traditionally, they haven't been good with long builds. They've messed it up somewhere in the middle. So I hope they don't mess it up. I hope they keep it simple.
I wish they would just drop Battleground altogether.
And just build the SummerSlam?
Yeah, just build the SummerSlam. I mean, because you got Owens, Cena 3. You have
Rollins, Lesnar.
Lesnar. Is there anything else in there? And you have Sheamus with the briefcase. Yeah. And these are stories that need to develop for a while. They need you don't need to just blow it on like basically a house show. I mean like what do you call those things? You know, you have
shows.
You have the big shows in your house. In your house. Yeah. Yeah. Like you just can't blow it on in your house show. You know, like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I don't know. Maybe we get like again. We'll probably get Sheamus trying to cash in and Brock and Rollins getting the pin on him to extend it. Say, hey, no, That wasn't my title shot. I'm Brock Lesnar. Fuck you. I want my rematch at SummerSlam. Got a primetime player is getting a rematch for the belts, I guess, at some point. Which should be a SummerSlam match. Neville should be facing either Big Show. I don't know, man.
We'll see. We got 5 weeks, man. We got 5 weeks. But, I mean, Twitter plugs, man. At JG Pro Wrestling on Twitter. SoundCloud.com/JG Pro Wrestling. Peter, what you got?
I got Ellen Japanese, LINJAPE.
You get it.
Yeah, I was fucked up. LINJAPANESC. That's SoundCloud. That's Instagram. That's Twitter. That's Snapchat. And then PJTW Central. That is the wrestling handle. I want to give a shout out. He listens all the time. I go back and forth. Oscar Wilson.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
At Oscar_Wilson1. Big shout out to you. It's always good to hear from you. We got let me give someone else a shout out. Michael P.S. Hayes. He responded to my tweet.
Nice.
Fuck him anyway. He's a jerk.
Oh, he responded to your tweet?
Yeah, because I was trying to call him out for being a fucking... I thought he didn't bring up primetime players. I was like, oh yeah, of course you wouldn't bring that up. Fucking racist piece of shit. You know, like, but he was like, but I didn't read...
Watch him now. I read this shit.
Yeah. Newman, Nathan Newman.
Hell yeah.
Big shouts to your dad, Grondy, Real Diamond Dan.
And he's going to be at the end of this, just like we said, with it's just some memories of Dusty Rhodes as a fan, and then how it was working for him a little bit. So that's going to be pretty cool, coming right up at the end of this.
And yeah, be sure to check out. Go to pjtwcentral.com. Check out all the archives streaming from Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. All the 43 episodes that we've done. All the archive to Fast of the World podcast, which is now on
SoundCloud.com/JG Pro Wrestling. It's doing pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, it's doing pretty good.
And speaking of doing pretty good, we're doing pretty good over here.
And I would like to give a big shout out to GorillaPressOnline.com. They posted it on there's like a little extras section on their website with like about 10 other podcasts you can listen to, and it was up on there, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, that's dope. And anything else? Yeah, I got my live reactions on the YouTube page. Check that out. Check out all the old stuff. It's a bunch of stuff to check out, and also subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. If you're listening on SoundCloud, subscribe to that. Like, comment, share. If you Tumblr account, subscribe to that. Like, share.
Just enjoy
Stitcher Radio, do the same thing. Like, put it on your favorites list. Thumbs up, share, and comment, and get in touch with us on all the social medias. And I guess, dude, did you see those fat heads in the crowd?
Yeah, what was up with that?
I thought it was great. It was like, one was a dude and his face was all like, and he said, "Cena sucks." And I think his old lady had her face, and she was like, "Ee." It was like, "Let's go, Cena." And then it was like, "Cena sucks." It was like 2 fat head posters. I thought that was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, that's about it. And yeah, they took out Dusty's crown in the image that he had.
Yeah.
You know, the crown.
Oh yeah, they cleaned it up a little bit.
They cleaned it up, all that shit up.
Good, make him look good.
Yeah, make him look good. No, but like, keep the crown. You gotta show the crown. That's it. You gotta keep that shit.
But that's fucking cool. Yeah, stay tuned for Diamond at Real Diamond Dan. My father.
Our father.
Yeah.
Which art in heaven.
Which
art in heaven.
Yeah, art. Yeah. He wrestled. He wrestled in WCW in the late 80s, and he's also a gigantic fan of the NWA Mid-Atlantic growing up, watching Dusty at Starcades and stuff. So without further ado, here's our interview, PJTWCentral.com's interview with Diamond Dan.
Thank you so much, guys. Peace.
Jacob.
What's up, Dad?
Hey, not much. How you doing?
Good.
What's up, Pops?
My adopted son. How are you?
Father from a son from another father. That's what I like to call it. Hey, I just brought the idea up to Jake because I don't know if you got my tweet, but like this is the first time me and Jake's gotten up since the death of Dusty Rhodes, and I was like, well, I wonder if your dad had any interactions or like cool stories or surrounding him or you knew of or heard about that you wanted to share with the podcast, like real quickly, since you were active in those days where he was like on top.
I don't have any specific stories, and I never met the guy, but I can definitely talk about him. Are the mics rolling right now?
Yeah.
All right. The thing about Dusty Rhodes, and you don't see it anywhere right now, is he made people believe. Even if you had doubt in your mind that wrestling was fake, if you heard Dusty Rhodes talk, you were in his wheelhouse, you were on his side, and you wanted to see him kick the bad guys' butts. Mm-hmm. And I'm not real sure there's anybody like that right now.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to see what old school is like, you just Google Dusty, and you watch promo, or you watch the angle, or you watch the comeback, and you listen to that crowd, and people are going berserk. They are in his corner 100%, and they want to see the former son kick some butt.
Nice.
Where were you when you got the news?
I was working, and then I got the news, and I think via Twitter, and all the social media stuff just exploded, and you could tell what the guys that are working today feel about him, because they all had close ties to him because of his training down in Florida, and you can tell it really hit home hard when you saw him at the pay-per-view and on Raw and everything.
With the deaths of just recently, the Ultimate Warrior, a couple of years ago, you had the Macho Man. You take a guy like Dusty Rhodes, who was considered wrestling royalty to a certain degree. You look at the Mount Rushmore of, I hate that description, but I mean, it makes sense, of wrestlers of the golden period and the impact and the contributions to the wrestling that we still see today. Do you know of any other wrestler that would be left that him leaving the earth would make as much of an impact as, say, Dusty Rhodes did? Say outside, Ric Flair. But
yeah, I'm sure if Flair leaves, it'll have a mark like that. But Dusty stayed, kept his hand in the business, and with the training and everything. What he was in charge of the promo classes or something down in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So he had hands on with everybody nowadays. So not only will all the fans remember him from the 80s and 90s and being on top and booking, but all the wrestlers today, all the workers today, have to thank Dusty Rhodes with pointing them in the right direction.
Do you have a favorite promo or favorite match of his?
Oh, well, that Hard Times, promo is epic.
Yeah.
And I was in the Greensboro Coliseum for the Starrcade $1 Million match with him and there with Smoking Joe Frazier as the referee. And,
wow!
That's awesome.
Yeah, that it was called the $1 Million match. It was one of the first it may have been the first pay-per-view got. I'm not sure how the other Starrcades were televised or not. But yeah, that was the main event, and it was a crazy night. And just about every name you can think of was on that card.
How old were you at the time?
How old was I? 23, 24.
So you weren't no kid. You were actually like a full-grown Mark by then.
Yeah.
I was a full-grown Mark. Yeah, I was definitely a Mark before I stepped in the ring.
And when did you step into the ring? And I'm thinking, how were you able to avoid him at some point, being that you were in the industry? How were y'all never able to connect? Was he that was it the fact that his star status was so big, or?
Well, I started training in '85, and I did some stuff with WCW in the late '80s and early '90s. Enhancement talent kind of stuff. And also worked a lot of guys like the Koloffs and Wahoo and things like that once they left WCW. But the times I went down there, he was boss man. I just never had any interaction with him.
Was this by choice or by?
Well,
like you wanted, was it one of those things you just? No, I don't want to. His star's too bright,
Well, I guess choice would be one way to look at it, but. When he's one of the top dogs and you're way at the bottom, approaching someone like that isn't the easiest thing in the world.
And plus, within like the wrestling etiquette and doing things like that, it's so what's the word I want to use? Particular. It's so according to detail that like if you would have approached up to him and without I guess proper authorization or something, that would have been like an issue.
Yeah. It's just like any other workplace.
Yeah.
You don't want to walk into the boss's office and start a conversation if you weren't invited.
Yeah. Well, we didn't want to take too much of your time. I know. I don't know if you had a question, Jake, being that's your dad and all.
I was wondering what his favorite Dusty match was, and we mentioned I didn't even know that Smoking Joe Frazier was ever in the Coliseum. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Well, I was also at the Coliseum, and if you read John Hitchcock's book, the start of the Four Horsemen. I was there that night. It was when I was dating Jake's mom.
Oh,
yeah.
And I was supposed to go to some baseball game, and the game got rained out, and I was buddies with some of the players and stuff. We said, let's go to the Coliseum and go watch wrestling, and we went. And that was the night John Hitchcock and my brother and that gang they were on the front row, and they had poster board that spelled out Horseman. It was the first time anyone considered Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson, and Tully, the Horseman. Arn had cut a promo a couple weeks earlier and compared themselves to the Four Horsemen, but no one called them that until that night. And they were taking on the Rock and Roll Express, Magnum TA, and Dusty. And, they came out with, and Ricky Morton had a broken nose. They were selling that. He was all bandaged up and stuff. And they were cheering for the heels, and they had so much heat around them. There's like 10 rows deep. Were not only cheering against the Horsemen, were cheering against John Hitchcock and him on the front row, to where me and a couple of the baseball guys came down and said, look, if anything happens, we got your back. Because they had no idea that was going on. But Dusty and Ricky Morton were selling so much and making so many people believe they would get mad, they would get cheated on. The whole world was wrong. That there was 100 people ready to fight over.
Oh wow!
And we were up in the corner watching it all, and that was a crazy thing to do.
Oh man, that's what makes me so jealous sometimes. The fact that you actually had the liberty to be able to be in those monumental moments, to see when those guys were like really, really taking like entertainment as wrestlers, just taking entertainment by storm. It was the ticket to go. You had James Brown coming to town, but also you had Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes coming to town. You're like, oh, I'm going to this wrestling show. It's unbeatable. I imagine you could write your own book, huh?
Well, there was a lot of fun things that happened, and back in those days, wrestling was coming to the Coliseum every couple of weeks. Me and Jake's uncle Bud.
I met him, yeah, Bud, yeah.
Yeah, we'd go all the time, and we bought the cheap tickets, which was $5, or if there's a really big match. I saw Dusty Rhodes take on Terry Funk for the NWA title when I was like 14 years old.
And you say $5 to get it. You can't even get a parking space for $5 at the Coliseum now.
Well, that Terry Funk and Dusty Rhodes was a big match. We splurged and paid $15.
Yeah, and that's how much it's for a beer.
Yeah.
Now, oh man. But we just wanted to get a bit of your time. I definitely want to get you in the building to talk more about your career and get some actual exchange between you and Jake and things for the podcast. Before you go, you want to share your ways to get in touch with you online, like with Twitter or anything like that?
Well, I guess the only way would be Twitter, and it's at Real Diamond Dan.
At Real Diamond Dan.
All right. Hit him up.
Hey, thank you so much. I'm gonna call you Pops. I'll call you Pops.
Hey, that's
Yeah, what's
good.
up,
We can
Dad?
do that.
Yeah.
Hey, if a white lady can be president of the NAACP,
Wait a minute.
I
She's
can-
not
I can be-
white.
I can.
She's not white.
Well,
You
if she can do
respect that.
I can be your dad, right?
You fucking respect the fact that she is a white man. I mean, they're two different worlds. Don't you talk about her like that. Don't, Rachel, I got your back, girl. Nah, I'm only kidding. What a nut job. Yeah, man, we're gonna get you on here real soon, dude. And I know, I mean, you probably got some spotty time. Send me when you're available, and we'll try to schedule around something. I know we tried before, and that kind of fell through, but I want to definitely get you on here.
We can do that. We can do that.
All right, sounds good.
All right, guys.
All right. Later, Dad.
All right, bye.
You have been listening to Peter and Jake Talks Wrasslin podcast. Please tune in next week.